Coming up on Outdoor Method. The top of Mount Townsend. Look at that. We are about to start Mount Townsend. It's about 4 miles up, 4 miles down, so 8 total. A little tired this morning, but we got caffeine, we got water. We're just kind of squaring away all of our stuff, and we'll get started. So this is the parking lot of Mount Townsend. There's a bathroom there and kind of a bulletin board here that always has some sort of trail information on it. There was actually a nice little poem on there that I read here in a second. We started this trail pretty early, so there wasn't many people in the parking lot. All right, so we're about to get started here in Mount Townsend. Sweet little one paragraph here I'm gonna read. Got me pumped up to do the hike here, so I'm gonna read it to you. It says, one final paragraph of advice. Do not burn yourselves out. Be as I am, a reluctant enthusiast, a part-time crusader, a half-hearted fanatic. Save the other half of yourselves and live your lives for pleasure and adventure. It is not enough to fight for the land. It is even more important to enjoy it while you can, while it's still here. So get out there and hunt and fish and mess around with your friends. Ramble out yonder and explore the forest. Climb the mountains, bag the peaks, run the rivers, breathe deep of that yet sweet and lucid air. Sit quietly for a while and contemplate the precious stillness, the lovely, mysterious, and awesome space. Enjoy yourselves. Keep your brain in your head and your head firmly attached to the body. The body active and alive, and I promise you this much, I promise you this one sweet victory over our enemies, over those desk-bound men and women with their hearts in a safe deposit box and their eyes hypnotized by desk calculators. I promise you this, you will outlive the bastards. So that was pretty great. So we're about to start it. We will update as we get going. Starts out pretty steep here, so I think the whole trail is pretty steep. It's like 3,000 or 4,000 feet of elevation gain, so here we go. So this first mile starts out, I think we gain about 700 feet in the first mile. I would consider that pretty moderate for us. The way we rate our elevation gain is 0 to 500 feet per mile is pretty easy. 500 to 700 feet per mile I would consider like more moderate, and 700 plus per mile feet elevation gained is pretty strenuous. Yeah, anything 1,000 feet per mile is, man, that's a slog. So about a mile in right now. We're just coming into the Buckhorn Wilderness. It's a little chilly this morning, but the first mile has got some nice switchbacks. Pretty moderate. The trail's in good shape, so it's nice and typical for like a mountain hike. You know, it's pretty strenuous the first mile here, but nothing too bad. I think we're going to continue switchbacking out the rest of the way. It's going to be a pretty good day. The sun's starting to come up. Once we get out of the forest here, it should be great views. So we'll check in around mile 2. So mile 2, we gained about 900 feet, I believe. Couple of creek crossings, still in the forest, kind of just grinding it out. Once you grind it out in the forest for a bit, the views definitely start to open up. Very sporadic. I think there's a couple of spots where you kind of open up and you can start seeing good views, as you'll see later on. All right, we're about a mile and a half in, but I had to record because these views are coming out of the trees here are just great. It rained quite a bit last night, so sunrises are always the best after a nice rainstorm. We'll check in about half a mile. All right, we're at mile 2. We're still switchbacking up here. There's our view. It's kind of breaking apart here. There's kind of intermittent views like that between mile 1 and 2, but we're still kind of in the forest here. Still steady incline most of the way up. There's a few flat spots, but pretty steady the whole way. We'll check in around mile 3. It's a beautiful day. Sun's out, birds are chirping, sweat is dropping, so we're having fun. This next mile was about the same. We gained around 700 to 900 feet elevation. But yeah, again, the trail was in great shape, super easy to navigate, not too many rocks or twigs or stumps or anything to kind of kill your feet on the way up. So it was really nice. These first few miles went by pretty quick. We are 3 miles in. The views are starting to open up, so this is the good part of the hike here. Look at that view. We have a nice cloud inversion this morning. Just incredible. I think Mount Townsend's up there somewhere. So we're gonna keep plugging along here. We should top out here in a minute. It kind of flattens out. Again, the switchbacks were, I would say, just normal, like a steady, steady incline up the whole way. Definitely a little grind, but nothing too crazy. We'll check in probably when we get to the top. I think the top's about 4 miles, so we'll check in there with some more epic views, hopefully. So see you at mile 4. So in this mile, we gain another probably 700 to 900 feet elevation. This trail ended up being around 2,800 feet elevation gain. So we're just finishing up here, going around some of the last switchbacks. There was 2 really major sections of switchbacks going up through this trail, but we were just finishing up here. Heaven on earth right here. Hard to beat views like this. Officially at the top of Mount Townsend. Look at that. Just 360 degrees. Amazing views. We got a nice version on this backside. It's beautiful, just insane. The wind's blowing, it's really cold. So we're not gonna stay up here too long, but here she is. That's it, heaven on earth. So we didn't stay at the top too long. It was super windy that day. We took a few photos and then bailed off, but yeah, just epic views, 360 degrees all the way around. I'd rate this one a 9 out of 10. Yeah, just the risk to reward was really worth it. We're about halfway back down right now. We're getting back into the trees here. Nothing too exciting going on, just weird conversations between me and the wife. We'll check in when we get back to the trailhead. See you soon. All right, we are back at the car. Done and done. Beautiful day, great hike. Be sure and wake up early, guys, because we were the only people on the trail on the way up. And as you can see now, it is fairly busy. I'll see you guys on the next one.